What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another War Within video. Hope you're all doing very well. The Enhancement Shaman tier set bonus got completely changed for Season 2. We're going to take a look at it, okay? Now, I'm going to show you this combat log in a second. That's why that's up there. If you've completely forgotten what the old tier set bonus did, don't worry. This is my old video from originally when it happened. So here's what the tier set bonus for Enhancement Shaman did like 2 weeks ago, okay? Yo, I really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe on the video. I gotta get some coffee. Bye. Spells and abilities have a chance to activate Winning Streak, increasing the damage of Storm Strike, Crash Lightning, Lava Lash up to 25%. And then your Maelstrom weapon spenders have a chance to remove Winning Streak. When you remove Winning Streak, you cool down Doom Winds. That's it. Whenever you gain a stack of Winning Streak or whenever you remove Winning Streak, you reduce the cooldown of Doom Winds. That's literally all it did. And it wasn't terrible. Getting extra Doom Winds had really good implications for like Totemic, giving you a bunch of Wind Fury procs, right? So it wasn't like the worst thing ever. Here's what they've done with it now, okay? Your spells and abilities have a chance to activate a Winning Streak, increasing the damage of Storm Strike, Lava Lash, and Doom Winds. So not Storm Strike, Lava Lash, Crash Lightning. Storm Strike, Lava Lash, Doom Winds. When you lose Winning Streak, the winds shift into Doom Winds for 4 seconds. When Doom Winds deals damage, your next Crash Lightning deals 24% increased damage up to 120. This effect can be stored up to 10 stacks. Additionally, Crash Lightning deals 50% more damage to your main target. There's a lot going on here. Number one, instead of just cooling down Doom Winds, you're guaranteed to get a Doom Winds proc now for 4 seconds, which is going to do a little bit of AoE damage. It's going to trigger Wind Fury weapon a lot, which is great. Okay. When that's happening, your next Crash Lightning will then do a bunch of extra damage. And this not only applies when you get the proc, the 4-piece proc of Doom Winds will buff your Crash Lightning damage, but when you press your regular Doom Winds, you also benefit from the 4-piece bonus. It will start giving you damage towards your next Crash Lightning. That's all it's doing. Whenever you're getting this kind of 4-piece Doom Winds proc, and it starts giving you extra damage to Crash Lightning, it just starts stacking up, and you'll actually see an indicator on your Crash Lightning button, and I'll show you that in a minute, okay? The very last part is very important. Additionally, Crash Lightning deals 50% more damage to your primary target. I thought to myself, okay, maybe you only get the additional damage to your primary target when you get the Winning Streak proc, but it actually just happens all the time. And look at the numbers over here on the combat log, okay? Let's go up a little bit here. We're only interested in looking at Crash Lightning. So there's 5 instances of Crash Lightning. I ran up to the dummies and I pressed Crash Lightning once and then I ran away, okay? Here's what that produced. 317,000 damage, 210, 217, 200, 213. This is doing 50% more damage than these are, right? Instead of it doing 210 damage, it did 50% more, which is about 300,000 damage, right? Because 50% of 200 is 100. So you're adding 100k damage there. So that's working. And I didn't have a 4-piece proc at all. I just ran up to the dummies and pressed Crash Lightning. I did it again. I've done this like 50 times now, and I'm just going to show you the last 2 that I did. Again, 216, 211, 325. Just put this down here. Is it easier to see right there? 216, 211, 325 is that middle one. 215, 212. So this middle one is my primary target, and I'm doing 50% more damage to that primary target with Crash Lightning all the time. Whenever I press Crash Lightning, it does 50% more damage to the primary target. That's awesome. Good to know. Okay. So this, I think, is a much, much, much better tier bonus than the one that we had before. And the reason it's much better is because it gives us actually a bunch of damage procs instead of just cooling down Doom Winds. Cooling down Doom Winds was cool. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that it basically required you to track your Doom Winds, and it meant that you had to press Doom Winds at the exact right moment, or else you were wasting cooldown reduction on Doom Winds. As soon as Doom Winds was off cooldown, if you weren't pressing your next Doom Winds right away, you were losing value there. And I think that that is not good. So now it's in a state where you're not worried about that at all. All you're worried about is this interesting buildup of crash lightning damage. I'm going to show you what it looks like, and then I'm going to show you some damage that I did. So if I walk up and press Doom Winds, you're going to see a little number go up on my crash lightning, okay? So here we go. Number, it's got 1, 2, 3. It's stacking up. See that? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It got up to 8. I'm going to press crash lightning, and then it did a bunch of extra damage. So my one crash lightning did 4 million damage right there. This is a theme you're going to notice here, okay? Also, Doom Winds did a decent amount of damage there, but you're going to see this is pretty crazy. Your crash lightning is going to start doing a crazy amount of damage, okay? And we're going to go and look at this one. We'll look at both of these. So I tested it with both Totemic and Stormbringer, and they're both good. In fact, they both did almost the same damage. 4.72 million sustained damage with Totemic, and then 4.76 million sustained damage on the Storm build. So both of these builds, crash lightning is at the top of your meters, okay? Now you can see on the Storm build, it did about 193 million damage, and on the Totemic build, it did a lot less. Isn't that interesting? So the reason is just because of where the damage gets pushed on these different builds. And with the Storm build, there's some interesting interactions I'm going to get to in a minute. Let's start with the Totemic build. Actually, I guess we can start with the Storm one because I'm already here. I tested this second. So here's some interesting interactions with the Storm build, and then we'll look at Totemic. First of all, Voltaic Surge gives you 15% more damage to Crash Lightning. That's great. Crash Lightning, of course, interacts with Chain Lightning. If you don't know, the more damage, the damage that you deal with Crash Lightning will buff the damage of your next Chain Lightning, and then your next Chain Lightning will reduce the cooldown of Crash Lightning. So Chain Lightning and Crash Lightning are intricately linked, and you want to be always alternating between the two so that you can press Chain Lightning to cool down Crash Lightning, press Crash Lightning to buff the damage of Chain Lightning. That's how that kind of ends up working, okay? The damage overall looks pretty crazy. Sorry, it's this one here. 22% of my damage was Crash Lightning, and it's just mostly because I would say this interaction with Thorum's Invocation. When I was inside of Ascendance, I was getting free Chain Lightnings cast because I was pressing my Wind Strike, and it casts, you know, the last spender that you use, so it's Chain Lightning. The Chain Lightning is automatically cooling down Crash Lightning, which means I can press multiple Crash Lightnings inside of an Ascendance window and get a crazy amount of damage, okay? And if you pair that up with the Doom Winds buff that you're getting, it's going to look something like this. I'll show you what it looks like here, okay? So let's just watch this. Make sure my buffs are up. So I'm going to start with a Crash Lightning and like a Sundering, and just get my Primordial, get all my stuff working. I'm going to press Doom Winds into Primordial Storm, and then I'm going to go into my Ascendance window right after that, okay? So we're going to run up. We'll just go like this. I should have started with a Flame Shock, to be honest, okay? And then we're going to go Doom Winds, Sundering, Primordial Storm, and then we'll go Ascendance, okay? Then Crash Lightning, and I'm going to go Chain Lightning here. Then I'm going to go my Crash Lightning's back. I'm going to press it. Wind Strike, Crash Lightning. Wind Strike, Crash Lightning. Wind Strike. It's giving me my Crash Lightning back, and it's back again. There we go. Now we can go back into the rest of our regularly scheduled programming. Then I'm going to go Chain Lightning, Crash Lightning, okay? Then we're going to go Tempest. Tempest gives us a free Chain Lightning. That Chain Lightning gives us our Crash Lightning back, and then we're going to press Crash Lightning, okay? Our Primordial Storm's back. We'll do that. Okay, then we're going to go Tempest into... oh, I shouldn't have done that. I should have done Crash Lightning first. Sorry. Then we go Chain Lightning. It's going to give us our Crash Lightning back. We go Crash Lightning again. We go Chain Lightning. Okay. We'll get our Crash Lightning back again here. There we go. Crash Lightning. We'll go Tempest. It'll give us a Chain Lightning. That'll give us our Crash Lightning back. You see how it works? I got a proc on Doom Winds right there. You can see the counter on my Crash Lightning is up. Okay. There we go. We're going to go Doom Winds here. Primordial Storm. Sundering. Crash Lightning. Chain Lightning. We'll go Tempest here. Chain Lightning. Crash Lightning. Okay. We'll do a Tempest again. Chain Lightning. Crash Lightning. That's how that works. Okay. I hope you were watching. You could see my abilities being cast here, but I hope you were watching that. And we're sustaining 6 million. It goes down to like 4 million, whatever, but we're sustaining 6 million. That's because of the way this ends up working. So not only does the Storm build have this really cool Ascendance window where you're automatically casting Chain Lightnings, which are reducing the cooldown of your Crash Lightnings, which are allowing you to press them more often. Not only is that happening, but just the basic Tempest, which gives you a free Chain Lightning because of Arc Discharge, that gives you cooldown on your Crash Lightning as well. Because every time you press Chain Lightning, it brings it down. So there's a very good interaction there that ends up doing a lot of damage for you. And I think it's a really great build potential. I think it has the potential to be just a fantastic build and do a lot of work for you. I'm going to show you the totemic version because I think they actually both work perfectly fine, which is a little bit weird to say, but I think Blizzard's done a really good job of splitting the difference here between these two builds by putting the focus on Crash Lighting instead of putting the focus on Doom Winds. When they put the focus on Doom Winds, I think it made the totemic build just arguably a bit better. But that's the damage there. Got a hair in my mouth. From the Storm build. We're going to look at the totemic build now. But there you go. That's just how that ends up looking. It's really, really good. Very solid. For the totemic build, that's obviously we're going to get our totem back. We don't have Ascendance anymore. We don't have any of those free spenders. We're still going to focus on trying to press Chain Lightning into Crash Lightning as much as we can. Okay, that is still important. But we have a lot of other sources of damage that end up happening as well. And we're now going to run Elemental Spirits. So with the Storm build, the last thing I forgot to mention is that you get a free Nature Wolf, right? Which is going to buff your nature damage in a big way, obviously, which buffs your Crash Lightning damage even more. So, excuse me, that's a really big reason for that. On the totemic build, we're going to run Elemental Spirits, which is going to give us extra elemental damage, which is going to buff Crash Lightning, hopefully, if we get the right wolf, right, of course. But we're going to be buffing all of our other damage as well. Okay, here we go. We're going to start it with our totem, and we're going to get things rolling, and then we'll go into Doom Winds, Primordial Storm, and then we'll try and do a Crash Lightning, Chain Lightning combo, okay? So here we go. We're going to go like this. Primordial Storm. Doom Winds. We'll do Crash Lightning here into the Primordial Storm, Chain Lightning, and then we'll do some Sunderings. Our Crash Lightning is getting boosted here. There's a Chain Lightning, back into another Crash Lightning. Okay, then we're into some Lava Lashes. Got another Chain Lightning because we had 10 stacks of Maelstrom Weapon. Another Chain Lightning. Oh, Crash Lightning first. There we go. We'll do a Totem again into an immediate Chain Lightning, which gets us our Crash Lightning back. Very nice. Remember, Crash Lightning is always doing 50% more damage. Oh, I messed up right there. To the primary target. Very, very important. There's our Sunderings, Chain Lightning. Oh, we got a proc. There's a big Crash Lightning there. You can see when the number is underneath the Crash Lightning there. That's how you know you got a proc. Okay, we'll do a Chain Lightning right away into a Crash Lightning. I didn't do this perfectly, so there's a bit of a mistake on my part there. I do think the Storm build probably has the potential of cranking out some really, really good damage, especially with an Ascendance, within that Ascendance window, right? But I would say that the totemic build can absolutely catch up. It just depends on the different pulls and the dungeons that you're doing. Maybe it depends on if you have more single target, more AoE. Obviously, having a 2-minute Ascendance cooldown is going to be really massive, and it's going to provide a lot of damage for you. But I think both builds are completely viable, in my opinion. I think they're both really strong, actually, and a lot of fun to play, of course. I mean, no matter what, they're super, super fun to play. But yeah, you can see it works well for this build as well. There's a Chain Lightning there. Sundering. We're getting a ton of Wind Fury procs. Crash Lightning is good for the Storm build because it buffs your Chain Lightning, and your Chain Lightning is doing a lot of damage in the Storm build. Crash Lightning is good for the totemic build because it triggers Wind Fury, which is going to trigger Flame Tongue, and you've got multiple bonuses for both of those imbuements on your weapon, right? Do another Crash Lightning here into a Primordial Storm. There we go. Big damage. Big Sunderings here. Sundering. I do think that totemic probably has more uncapped AoE like potential with Crash Lightning being buffed, but the totem does AoE damage, and then your Crash Lightning does AoE damage. Your Primordial Storm's doing AoE damage, which you get on both builds, of course. But there you go. There's the numbers there. Crash Lightning still at the top, but we have other sources of damage now. Surging Totem, Sundering, Flame Tongue attack being really big. Why? Because we're triggering so many Wind Fury attacks with our Crash Lightning, right? Every time you press Crash Lighting, it is one of the biggest sources of triggering Wind Fury damage and Flame Tongue damage. So that ends up being really high as well. So I think we did a little bit less damage there, of course, on that build. What do we have here? 4.72. Oh, it's up here, right? There we go. 4.46. And then we had 5.65. Again, this is with an Ascendance, like, cooldown, which I think makes all the difference. So over the course of a much longer dungeon or a raid, potentially, depending on how many Ascendance procs you're getting versus how much consistent damage you're getting in a Totemic, that might even out a little bit more. But I will say, just judging from the numbers, that the Storm build looks to be perfectly healthy. It looks like it's doing lots of damage if you're running it with that Ascendance window, because Ascendance is triggering free Chain Lightnings, which are triggering free Crash Lightning. So that is the tier set bonus in a nutshell. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you down there. I think generally speaking, this is a much better direction for them to go. There's no RNG waiting to get a Doomwind's cooldown back and then having to press it like as soon as it comes off cooldown, or else you're wasting the value of the 4-piece. There's none of that anymore. You're just getting Doomwind procs, which are good, and extra damage on your Crash Lightning, which is so good in an AoE environment. I mean, the damage that you're seeing here is just going to scale even higher in higher packs of AoE, because Crash Lightning is uncapped. It's soft capped AoE, but it hits everybody in front of you. So potentially some crazy damage in AoE coming in for Enhancement Shaman in Season 2. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from all of you down there. Thank you so much again for watching. Love y'all. I'll see you in the next one.